Today we're going to be covering a whisky that is infamous in the whisky world, loved and loathed in equal measure. Strangely high in quality, yet incredibly cheap. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Mellow Corn. And I don't really know why I was doing a whole building up suspense thing, because you can read, so that'll have been in the title and also the thumbnail, so that didn't make a lot of sense really. But I don't know, I felt like having a bit of fun with this, because I feel like this is going to be a fun whiskey in every sense of the word. Yeah, so this is... I don't want to say that this is the whiskey that I have had my eye on the most for the past few months, but it is. It actually is. And there's going to be American viewers right now being like, you know this is the shit stuff, right? I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of that. This is sort of your bog standard working man's whiskey. But it's also bottled in bond, 50%, and look at that label. Just look at it. One look at that label and you know it is my aesthetic. It's garish and yellow and I love it. I love it. Just look how ugly that is. That's the label only a mother could love. There are going to be more details down in the description about what qualifies as a bottled in bond, because I can't be bothered going into it here. But it basically means it's of a certain quality. Is the TLDR version for today. It's almost the American version of kind of like 46% non-chill filtered, all that kind of thing. And there's some tax McGubbins involved in there as well. We should quickly get onto the price of this. A bottle of this in the US that I am led to believe would be around about $18, which in our money is about 13 quid and a bit. So realistically this is a £13 bottle of whiskey for 70 cl. Why is it so cheap? Well, corn's abundant. From Heaven Hill Distillery, well known for their bourbons and ryes and just generally being pretty okay whiskey lads. We don't often do American whiskey either, do we? So that's a point of difference. Did I buy this just for the horrendous label? Maybe. Does it matter? It kind of matters. I've done a bit of reading, I've watched some videos, and I still have no idea what to expect. I'm either going to love it or hate it, apparently. It's a very Marmite whiskey. I paid £28 for this. Quite steep. Isn't it? Isn't. It's steep for what it is. It is not worth £28. I mean, you know, I can make that judgment just empirically. You know, it goes for about £13, $19, that kind of a thing. So just objectively, it's not worth the money I paid. But I'm paying for import and taxes and all that fun stuff. I'm paying for this lovely little sticker on the back that says it's for the UK market. I quite like a grain whiskey, as a general rule. I've got turned around on them by Kinenvy when they released their KVS 002. You'll be able to watch my review of that. And since then, I've been slowly exploring grain whiskies every now and then. This is a corn whiskey. Now then, American whiskey. Some quick, hard and fast rules. A bourbon must be 51% corn, and the rest of the mash can be anything else. A rye must be 51% rye. For a corn whiskey, it must be 81% corn. I just love that label. Sorry, I'm going to crack this open now. No taking it back now. It is a lemon yellow screw cap. Fascinating. This is going to be interesting. It's been a long time since I opened a whiskey with a screw cap. And that's not a commentary on anything. It's a screw cap. It's not going to deteriorate. It's not going to interfere with the whiskey in any way, shape or form. In many respects, a screw cap is better. You're probably wondering why I haven't really read off of the label, and that's because it doesn't have much to say for itself. It's from Heaven Hill Distillery, Kentucky Straight Corn Whiskey. 50% alcohol by volume. And that's it. There's not even a back label. Got a lovely texture, the label, if that's of any interest to anybody. 50% alcohol or 100 proof, American proof. And then there's a government warning about not drinking when you are preggers. And that's about it. That's all she wrote. Just like the label. Okay, I'm going to stop going on about the garish appearance of it. This is a bit of a cult whiskey. I say a bit of a cult whiskey. It's a cult whiskey. People adore this stuff. People loathe this stuff. It's it's difficult to quantify. I'm trying to think of what has a similar kind of adversity and following at the same time, and I'm struggling a little bit because an analogue in Scotch whisky is a difficult thing to find. Maybe something like Buckfast that has a similar level of revilement than it does a fan base. People love it, people despise it, and that's kind of a class thing. Because, you know, we're all about class in the UK because we're really backwards like that. I wonder if it's maybe the same in the... I don't know. I don't know enough about America. I've never lived in it. I've never visited America. Have I slept with an American? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that night. Anyway, so there's some whiskey in the glass. It's a lovely colour. I'm going to talk about that quickly. It's a beautiful kind of peachy gold colour. There's like a slight pink hue to it almost. Kind of like a rose gold kind of a thing. It's a really appealing, lovely golden colour. I don't have too much to say about that. If I were handed this in a blind tasting, I'd be like, oh yes, the sherry cask. You know, it's kind of snobby, snotty bullshit that I normally get up to. The nose is interesting. Nose is... It's got a sting to it, certainly. But there's something quite fruity about it. There's something like peaches and cream in there. Smells a little bit of a carnival, like a late night carnival. Something of popcorn and sick about it. It's got a little bit hay as well. Hay? Kind of like hay. There we go, that's a better sentence. I've just come off of doing the Bladnock live stream, so if I seem a bit out of it, that's because I am. Something else on that as well. It's a very strange nose, very different. What is that reminding me of? A little bit of like a Sharpie marker. It's reminding me a little bit of Red Stag. It's the cherry flavoured bourbon from Jim Beam. It's reminding me a little bit of that, like very faintly. It's the cherry. There's like a fruity sweetness and quite a grain heavy. It's fucking delightful. I love that. Wonderful. It's really fucking good. It's got such a unique, bold character to it. There's probably people watching this and like, it's just Mellow Corn, what are you on about, you fucking snob? Fair, but also, it does, so fuck you. Do I get a bit aggressive after a couple of drinks? That's something to keep an eye on. It tastes like freshly cooked popcorn smells. There's this wonderful, roasted, starchy flavour to it. It's a little bit like buttery, there's something a little bit fatty about it. The mouth feels really unctuous. It's a touch vegetal. It's a little bit monotone, but the flavour it is giving you is brilliant. Alarmingly easy to drink. Like, alarmingly easy to drink. There's a little bit of a nip on the back, but it is also 50%. I'm going to do a jump cut because I've left my water on the desk over there. So I'm going to go get the water, put it in this, and see what happens. Back, and there is some water in here. I just didn't think you needed to see me spooning water into a glass because, I mean, I've done that plenty of times before. I could just copy and paste it in. Ooh, interesting. The nose becomes this explosion of weird contrasting fruit flavours. There's blackcurrant, there's raspberry, there's a little bit of like cotton candy. There's more of that strange fake cherry. I wouldn't say there's any real element of corn in the smell. It's really fruity and vibrant. I almost want to say tutti frutti because it's kind of all over the place. It smells pink. I don't know how else to describe that other than, which, I mean, given the amount of yellow, I mean, fair enough, but it does. It smells pink. It smells like tutti frutti ice cream and a little bit of bubble gum. Like lots of artificial pink fairground aromas. It's a circus in a glass. There's something a tiny bit vanilla-y in there, but it's a little bit drowned out by the explosion of weird and wacky aromas. The whiskey I've ever stuck in my face, and that's as a compliment. I might have to start stocking this. This is fucking weird. There's going to be like Americans watching this just like, are you alright? And the answer's no. Okay. On the palate, the water makes it a fair bit more muted. It becomes a much more standard popcorn affair, like salted popcorn. It has a subtle flavour, it's a little bit dry, and there is still quite a buttery mouthfeel. And there is almost like a fatty flavour that you get from it. It tastes like buttered popcorn, with a bit of salt. The nose is wild. The flavour, by comparison, is quite subdued. It's kind of like when you cut open a pink dragon fruit, and you're like, oh, this is the maddest fruit I've ever seen. And then you eat it, and you're like, it just kind of tastes, eh? A little bit sweet and nothing else. You know, if anyone's ever had a dragon fruit. I promised my Instagram followers recently I would shoehorn dragon fruit into a tasting note somewhere, and this is the best I can do on short notice. So it's there. It's got a fantastic roasted flavour to it. It's really luxurious and inviting. But it's also simple. There's something there for a whiskey geek, but there's also plenty for someone who just wants a drink to enjoy. It's a simple flavour done very well. And I get why this has... I'm a little bit confused why this has detractors, if I'm honest. But maybe that's part of the divisive nature of this whiskey, in that I clearly fall into the love it category. And oh boy, do I fall into the love it category. I was not expecting to, like... I was a little bit worried about this, because I was like, I've been looking forward to it. Can it live up to that? Probably not. It's not live up to what I was expecting, but it's delivered something so completely outside of my expectation that I've kind of fallen head over heels in love for it. And you think of all the stuff that I've covered on this channel. I mean, we've done 21-year-old Auchentoshan's, which are amazing. And we've done 10-year-old Bladnocks, which are also amazing. And we've done... Oh, I should probably pick something shit, shouldn't I? Oh, Johnny Walker White Walker, there it is. We've had a big range, and this is one of the most ubiquitously available, common and cheap whiskies available in the US, and I fucking adore it. I mean, it would almost be worth not having free healthcare. No, it wouldn't. Nothing's not worth that. But anyway, let's not get down that road. Whoops, too late. This is fantastic. This is excellent. I will buy more of it, because it's fucking lovely. I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to have to be careful with this one, because I will... This wonderful, like, I just ate a load of popcorn flavour in your mouth afterwards, and it's really... This would be a great whiskey with a film. You don't have to think about it too much, and it's also thematically appropriate. There's a few whiskey YouTubers out there recently that have been talking about, you know, having whiskies like Malt Box, Whiskey Wednesday and stuff like that. I've been talking about whiskies that you don't have to think too much about, that you just want to sit down and enjoy quietly, you know, and you don't have to spend 40 minutes in the other room while your other half is in the room with Netflix on pause being like, where the fuck are you? What's going on in there? This is one that you don't have to think too much about, but it also just works. It's just one that you can enjoy, but it also delivers something to be enjoyed. I might write poetry about this bottle yet, I don't know. Anyway, let me know down below what your thoughts are on Mellow Corn. Did you know this was a product? Are you surprised I liked it? Are you not surprised at all that I liked it? Let me know down below. There are also... Do you know, I'll quickly mention this as well. You know how I score whiskey? And recently I've not been very good at keeping up to date with that. Well, I decided that I'm going to make it easier on myself. So down below is a link to a Google Sheets. And all of the whiskey that I've reviewed on this channel have their marks and their grades put in there. And it will get updated every time that I review a whiskey, whether or not it appears on this channel. So there you go, there's a little bit of insider stuff as a little thank you, and also because it makes it easier for me, and I quite like spreadsheets because I'm sad like that. For now though, I'll say thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see an Englishman drink Mellow Corn, because I will happily do this video again. Like, seriously. But for now though, thank you very much for watching, and do join me next time where I'll be drinking possibly this again.